First impressions are bastards, very often coming down to your appearance before your personality. And with many people focusing on the former, clothing shops have become altars of worship to the gods of fashion that have gotten way out of control. Apparel is the new deity, and magazines and websites on style are the new Bible. But this modern overlord hasn't been welcomed by all, with some shunning the rights and teachings of Cosmopolitan and Vanity Fair as the inane ramblings of those obsessed with how others see them. You can basically divide humans into two categories: those who put effort into their appearance, and those who quite simply don't give a fuck. But this guy must be somewhere in the middle.
The pronouns he and she can kind of feel like a box.
What the actual fuck is going on here? I'm not being lectured on the importance of pronouns by a transvestite with 5 o'clock fucking shadow. You gotta be kidding me, mate.
Or a trap, where they come with all of this baggage. And for me, the gender-neutral pronouns they, them don't come with that baggage.
Are you sure oh good, he's writing something. Are you sure about that, mate? They still come with baggage, it's just you've transferred it onto everyone else. Bit fucking selfish if you ask me. Identify how you want, I don't give a shit, but that's all on you, old boy. It's your problem, and by the look of it, it's a fucking big one, so don't try and make it mine. I've got my own shit to worry about. Holy shit, you take ages to write, Jacob. Chop chop, yeah? I can't be waiting around for your limp wrist to scrawl some bullshit about gender. Fuck it, let's read the thing. Genderqueer people are an important part of the transgender community. How? Do they handle the payroll or something? Are they in charge of ordering sandwiches during parades? Explain yourselves. Oh, for fuck, this is where shit gets confusing, isn't it? For fucking generations, we were happy with he and she denoting biology when it comes to humans. And ships, which are always she, stemming from the Romance languages and probably the fact that we fill them with semen. But when you start pissing about with that, your sentences become difficult to understand and we have a failure to communicate coherently. There and they can be used in certain cases for the individual, but I'll check my privilege the day you check your plurals. You see? Something about gender. Fucking called it. But it's only 3 words, Jacob. Why did that take so long to write? Oppression? Some of your chest hair got stuck in your eye? Class gender isn't limitless, you hirsute little goblin. Even if it is a spectrum, as you lot often profess, it's not, but if it were, it would still have extremes. And since when has gender been governed by your fucking clothing? Clothes are generally designed with a certain gender in mind, as shown by your wearing apparel designed for a female. So how is gender limitless when you are limited to boys' clothes and girls' clothes?
I always say that my life was perfect for about 3 seconds until the nurse looked down and said, "It's a boy."
You don't remember that. Shut the fuck up. Who do you think you are, Salvador Dali? At least he was the good kind of weirdo. I don't see you painting any melted clocks. You're just pissing on about how the whole world should change when you can't even be asked to run a fucking razor over your chin.
My ability to choose what makes sense for me was taken away from me.
It wasn't taken away, you dickhead. It was never your choice in the first place. Your being born with a schlong isn't part of some mass conspiracy to keep you in your place. You're a man, Jacob. No amount of pashminas or mascara is ever gonna change that.
We don't even view that as something that's hurtful or violent or mean to a child.
What? Violent? How is it violent to point out your biology? Don't tell me you've reclaimed that one as well. That's just stupid, mate. But here's Jacob when he was a little un. Look at that smile, despite all the hurtful behaviour inflicted on him at birth. Poor little mite, see the anguish in his eyes? He isn't playing with that ribbon, he's trying to tie a noose.
I had so many feelings of my gender not working.
So you decided to get a new one, or did you have to wait until Christmas?
So much of my childhood was about fear. It was about being scared of, oh, what happens if my true self just slips out for a second?
A kid playing dress up? Fucking hell, I've never seen that before. Must be gender fluid or some shit, right? All because of the abuse you suffered at the hands of a midwife when she saw your teeny tiny baby penis and announced it's a boy. What a bitch.
And everyone learns that I am this feminine person. What if people learn who I truly am? I don't think I could survive it.
An effeminate male. Never seen that before either. You're like a gender pioneer, Jacob. Truly one of a kind, aren't you? Like a fucking snowflake. Even though you can't describe your magical third gender without using words like feminine, which relates to one of the genders that does actually exist. Now, why is that, Jacob? If gender is limitless, why can't you talk about it without referencing the limitations? Now try that blouse on for size. No, stop that, please.
One of the things I remember from childhood is that I always wanted to play with Barbies.
Oh shit, that's completely new as well. I've never seen a little boy toting a doll around, nor have I ever seen a little girl playing with toy cars. I guess all those sad men with their sex dolls are really just confused about their own gender.
I mean, it's like so classic. And so I got my own Barbie.
But that's a gendered toy, Jacob. If Barbies are meant for girls and your parents bought you one, isn't that the same kind of violence as announcing the sex of a newborn baby? You poor thing, your whole life has just been abuse.
I tried to hide it and sort of like not let my brother know that I had it and not let the kids in the neighborhood know that I had it.
Yeah, we all knew a kid who wouldn't share his toys, though they didn't all turn out to be gender fluid or gender queer or gender bleh. Some just hoarded old newspapers and others became rapists. Either way, there's something going on there mentally, you know?
And one day they found it. They like cut off my Barbie's hair and like pulled off her head.
Oh no, again, something that has never happened throughout the entire history of the world. How did you ever get over it, Jacob? Looking at you, I'm guessing you didn't.
Oh my God, it was so traumatic because it was like, we found out your secret is not okay, and you need to change who you are.
How the fuck was that? Oh, is that the end? Oh, maybe he's just having a costume change. How the fuck was that traumatizing, Jacob? Watching your doll's head get pulled off isn't the same as watching a real person's head get pulled off. That would be traumatizing. You're using fucking strong words to describe the wimpiest events, man, and it's not driving your point home like you think it is. It's just showing us that you don't have a functioning sense of perspective.
The older people in my life, the adults in my life, were incredible, and I think that's why I knew I was gonna be okay.
Are you okay, though? You started off chatting about the importance of pronouns. That's not the behavior of someone who's okay. A person who'll break down when someone refers to them as he isn't okay. I mean, what will you do if you get called an actual insult? Release your bowels? Join ISIS? Sprout wings and fly? Seems ridiculous, but this whole video has been about overreacting to the most benign shit, him and me.
Because if they could be good to me, I knew that eventually my peers would figure it out. But the waiting for that moment was excruciating.
This fucking video's excruciating, mate. Why would you? Let's have a look at that first photo again. What in the living fuck was going through your head when you thought you have the legs for that dress? How did you put that on and then look in the mirror, seeing your stubble and the way your chest hair curls over the top of the hem, and think, yep, I look cracking?
By the time I'd graduated and was a senior and had like moved to DC, which was the first city that I lived in, that was when I finally understood that being genderqueer and gender nonconforming did make me like part and parcel of the trans community.
Yeah, if the trans umbrella includes transvestites, which, yeah, it does start with trans, and the LGBT collective do seem desperate to bolster their numbers, as shown by the acronym containing so many letters is starting to rival the fucking alphabet. But let's talk about the sign he's holding up. Utter bullshit. Okay, moving on.
Things are going great there, and I'm having a wonderful time.
This is how I imagine the Joker looked during his angsty teenage years.
As I'm gay, but as you can see, I'm also pretty queer. I mean, I'm wearing lipstick right now, and I have this glittery nail polish that I love so much.
Finally, we finally find out what queer actually means. And it's down to makeup. I mean, fuck, who had money on that?
Because that's who I am, and that's how I'm comfortable. And that's how I express my gender identity.
And that's fine, my man. It doesn't mean you're anything other than the gender you were born as, but you identify how you want. Just don't put it on me to reinforce that for you without at least bribing me first. PayPal link is in the description, Jacob. Let's see how much those pronouns are really worth to you.
The spectrum of gender nonconforming people is so brilliant and unique. You know, there are some people like me.
What, those who think they're brilliant? I'm not gonna say that's the most unhealthy thing about this guy, but it's in the top 10.
Who want all of the gender. I just have like so much gender. Like I want it all.
Holy shit, man. Even by their own definition, that still doesn't make any sense. Though it might explain why he insists on being such a walking contradiction.
If I had to talk to my 8-year-old self,
I'm sure he would freak the fuck out, Jacob, but I hope you'd use the opportunity to pass on a warning about the attack on the World Trade Center or something. Don't be selfish with it now.
I would say you owe it to yourself to be patient with yourself.
That's such bollocks. The 8-year-old Jacob obviously didn't kill himself over any of this, so why not pass on some winning lottery numbers instead of giving shit advice?
And to be patient with people around you. Because as much as you want to, everything can't change overnight for you.
Oh, this is such wank. How about telling him not to be such a little bitch about how other people see him? That's sound advice right there, no matter what imaginary gender you think you are. Or better yet, tell him to find a better hiding place for his Barbie. I think that's where this whole shit show went off the rails. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
But it's gonna get awesome.
It's gonna get... Oh, fuck, no, spin on.
I'm Jacob Tobiah. I'm 25 and I am beautiful.
25? And the rest, mate? This is blatantly some kind of midlife crisis, and you shouldn't be having one of those in your mid-20s unless you sold off half your life in exchange for the eyes of a Shinigami. I think this is the kind of person Trump had in mind when he banned transsexuals from joining the military. I mean, he isn't transsexual, he's a cross-dresser, but he thinks he is. You can't have someone defending your country who thinks announcing a baby's gender is violence. And what about the trauma? This one's never got over some kids breaking his favourite toy. What would happen if you stuck him in a war zone? I doubt he'd even get that far, really. The first thing he'd do is complain about the uniform and then have a brain aneurysm while trying to decide which bathroom he should use. Thanks for watching, guys. Check me out over on VidMe because YouTube seems to be losing the will to live. And please consider becoming a patron to give me some fucking reason for doing all this. The links are in the description, and remember, people who say gender is mental are pretty mental too.